Jesus Christ, the first like 5 minutes of this series, I'm already like, can they do that? Can they just off one of their beloved character? They really did that to him, to my boy Foggy. I was devastated. It wasn't that. I was like, I reached a point in my life when I watch media that I'm like, you know what? It is sad to see characters die, but also like it makes it memorable. It makes you feel something. And that's a big driving force for me when I come to watching something. Did I feel something? And boy, oh boy, did I feel something. You see that opening sequence? When the helmet dropped and it goes right into the theme song? I was like, if there's not opening credits, like the doo-doo with the blood in the first one, I was like, nah. It was like we had the crumbling, like this almost bone-looking rock of the the justice system, the cathedral. Like everything's falling apart. It's corrupt. It's how do we build it, and it forms back together into like Daredevil, and it's like born again. It was pretty dope. So as a lot of people have probably already know, Daredevil Born Again has just dropped. Yeah, I almost forgot about it. But out of all the media that's really come out this year, this is one that I'm hyped for, because Daredevil, the original Daredevil on Netflix, in my opinion, is just peak. It is one of the best pieces of media that I've ever watched. In fact, I could argue it was probably my favorite Netflix show, probably the best Netflix show. I mean, I don't remember anything else that stands out. And then like I can see other Marvel ones, and then the One Piece live action? I didn't watch that one. Remember the Death Note one? But so Daredevil Born Again, first 2 episodes, and I'm just gonna flat out say this. I almost feel scared nowadays to like say that I enjoy anything or say that I think something's good, because anytime a new piece of media comes out, whether it's a new movie, show, whatever, nowadays everyone has an opinion, and I feel like a lot of people are just like, dang, I feel like, where's the fun? Why can't I just enjoy something, right? And I can come out and be like, oh, I enjoyed this, and then someone's like, no, you're wrong, it's not as good as the original one. And after these 2 episodes I watched, will I say it's like old Netflix Daredevil? I'm gonna say no, but I think it's 99% there. I have some nitpicks, but overall it was, after I sat in it, especially when I got into episode 2, I was like, I remember this feeling of being excited about a show. Although I remember Netflix said I'll drop that once, now I have to like wait a week, every week or whatever. I remember those nights of watching Daredevil like in one night because I was so excited. Now I have to wait, and I hate it. But like these first 2 episodes, probably the biggest nitpicks I have, some of the CGI action scenes were a little like, they weren't as gritty as that old Netflix budget. They got Disney money now. There was one scene I'm like, I think these pigeons are CGI, and I don't know if that's true or if they're not, but they look CGI to me, and I was like, do we not have still footage of pigeons? There was also like this grittiness that the Netflix had, because I think it was low budget, and I think I've used this example before, but it's in like some other metaphors, but like it's like how Luigi's Mansion looked grosser on the GameCube because of the graphics. But I do remember some action scenes opening up, right? They had like those shots where it's like the one shot going up the stairs, and it's very reminiscent of old Daredevil. Like the hallway scene. Everyone remembers the hallway scene, right? Aside the part of like when Daredevil's in his suit in like the first few minutes, after that, because like I said, I feel like when he's in the suit jumping around like Spider-Man, it kind of took me out of it a little bit. It was cool though to see like this more action comic book-ish like type of thing there. There was less of that, I guess, in the old one, so maybe that's why I feel that way. Overall, it was still cool. But like when we get to like him, like, okay, I'm trying to solve the case, I'm trying to be a lawyer, I'm trying to like just get information, that's like, okay, this is like the heart I remember of like old, because like, back then they didn't have big budgets, we very low scale. And I think I said this in my Venom video, where I was talking about I enjoyed parts of like the beginning of Venom where he was just like fighting like little low criminals, right? And I kind of miss that in like superhero movies, kind of scaling it back, right, to just the street level. But I'm like getting ahead of myself. Daredevil Born Again. Well, first off, we open off. We got Bullseye. We got like parts of, the city is changing. Our favorite sandwich shop is now a Soul Cycle or whatever. There are parts of this show that I'm like, did they predict this, or did they just accidentally like wrote like some current events? Like I said, Foggy dies, and that's very sad. Gets killed by Bullseye. Just jumps right in. I'm like, oh dang, we're bringing in heavy hitters. And then time jump. Matt is like, I've given up the mantle because I didn't feel like I broke my code. I almost killed Bullseye. Poindexter. My friend died. I need to move past it. Paige has moved to San Francisco. She's not really in talking terms with Matt, but Matt has kind of built up his firm, made new partners. Is trying to like really fight crime the legal way instead of being a vigilante. But crime is rampant, We get more vigilantes out there. The White Tiger. At one point, they do kind of like hint at Spider-Man. I'm like, oh, let's go, Spider-Man crumbs. And then, pretty soon, we already know the plot of this, like, right? Fisk is going to become mayor, which, is a plot point in the Daredevil comics, which as I'm watching more of this show, I am seeing like, oh, there are a lot of different plot points that were used in the comics that I'm seeing here. I really appreciate that. We'll get more into that a little bit later with another certain vigilante here. But pretty quickly, it happens. He becomes mayor. There's a celebration. Some people are like not so happy about it because they remember Fisk's past. Some people are like, well, whatever. Like, let's just get some stuff done. But in that part of it, there are scenes where you see that Fisk is a guy who like, I want to get stuff done, right? And in a system where like maybe there is a lot of, oh, like, okay, we gotta like go through all these proper channels. It does appeal to people that there's this guy who's like, yeah, I'm gonna get this done. I'm gonna ignore like permits. I'm gonna ignore all this stuff. I'm gonna ignore all the bureaucracy and just like, yeah, I said I was gonna get it done. And that like also begs the question of, is that a good thing? Is it good to like, okay, we're trying to fill this pothole. We can't because we're waiting for a permit. Well, why do you need a permit? Like, what if there's a reason why we can't fill this pothole right now? What if it's dangerous? What if there's wires down there where we can't pour the cement? But he's like, let's just do it. And to normal people, it's like, oh, this is great. But also like, there might be too much red tape, but there may not be. I don't know. You have a system that nothing's getting done. People want change. Like, and if there is corruption, it creates an environment of even more corruption. Because Fisk is, in his nature, he's the bad guy. We even see as he is taking this mayor position. I do fully believe that like Fisk loves the city and he wants to make it better. But is he doing it in the right way? And it's one of those things that like, if the city does become better because of like how corrupt Fisk can pull strings, and go around some of these like policies that we've put in place, is that good for everybody? If you're making things better at the expense of somebody else? I don't know. These are all these like philosophical, like political questions we have going on here. And it puts you in this position of like, well, he's doing good, but he's also like doing bad. There's a part of me like, okay, Fisk is going straight? But we already see that he is like blackmailing the commissioner because like the police don't like him. But like Fisk being Fisk, and like I've said this before, we don't love a villain because he's good. We love him because he's bad. We love the good guys because they're good. We love the villains because they're villains. And that's why I like Fisk as a character, because I know he's bad. I know he's the bad guy. I know he's the one I'm supposed to be not rooting for. But you kind of want to see him get away with it. And it's kind of thrilling to watch to see if he can get away with it. Meanwhile, you have Daredevil here who is keeping an eye on him. But he has to do it from a different light because he's no longer Daredevil. I'm already just like, I am very captivated in this storyline. I am because, Fisk more in the public eye now. When as Daredevil he's kind of going more in the back scenes of not being well known to the public. He's just a normal lawyer. So far, I have been very intrigued with what I've been watching. And within that first episode, we even get like, Matt, he's got a little love story going on. I always enjoy a little love story. I don't think that's going to backfire. It might. It's going to be maybe sad if it does. But it's good for Matt. He's trying to have a normal life, being just a normal lawyer. And one of my favorite scenes is the scene where he straight up talks to Fisk. And in a weird way, it's kind of like an understanding between the two. They both have a secret, or I don't know if Fisk is really a secret. I mean, most people know that he was a villain and he did get incarcerated, but no one knows Matt is Daredevil, only like a select few people. And it was kind of a cool scene to see them talk and be like, we have an understanding of each other. We understand each other better than anyone else. And if anyone else step out of line, we will come after each other. That scene was ballsy. That scene was like, who's going to come out on top here? Because like, Matt's like, I don't believe that you're not going to be corrupt is what I'm saying. And we already kind of know that he's like, not, like I said, he's blackmailing people already. There's little things here and there. Like you see his fist all bloody. We also got like Ben's niece and the fact that she goes to talk to Fisk and he's like, I knew your uncle. And it's like, well, I remember how that ended. Vanessa, obviously she's got some thing going on, and this kind of brings the elephant room, and I don't know if I'm just dumb, but I still don't really understand how Fisk is there, because if I remember correctly, in the end of the last Daredevil, like he gets like, Matt stops him, and Vanessa, like I remember like there was a scene where Vanessa's going away in a helicopter, and then now like Fisk, he did the whole thing with Echo and Hawkeye. So like, did he go to prison or did he just like go away for a little bit? People were speculating how the blip is involved in this, and people were like, well, how is he the mayor if he's been like, everyone knows he's corrupt? And I was like, well, he's rich. Like, well, rich people don't have consequences, guys. So it's just like, there's all these questions that I like, will these get answered, or is it one of the things that like, let's just not worry about it? I haven't really gone on like the Reddit rabbit holes about it. And maybe I am just missing something there. It's been a while since I've watched old Daredevil. But regardless, they do kind of like drop at like Echo a little bit. Him getting shot in the face. His eyes just fine. Maybe we shouldn't just think too much into it. Regardless, Fisk is mayor. Matt is going straight lawyer. More plot lines is Matt is taking on a case with the White Tiger. He is a vigilante, but he is one night he's walking the subway, he stops these guys getting mugged. Turns out it was like a kind of cop situation going down, and one of the cops dies. So Matt overhears the conversation in the police custody and takes on his case. And Matt knows he's innocent. Matt wants to prove his innocence, and it's just one of those cases that, like, I'm sure Matt is close to it because he understands the feeling, and also probably wants to just care about justice a little bit. But Matt is close to this because he himself is a vigilante, or at least once was. Well, the interesting part about this storyline, though, and what I got really excited for, is he's got to find the witness, right? And he does. But the cops who are involved in this case want to kill the witness. And when they go to confront the witness, Matt is already there and pretty much like, hey, you're too late. You can't do this. And then they attack Matt. Matt fights back. And ultimately, I don't know if he kills them, but like they look pretty roughed up. I mean, bones broken. I'm a little surprised of how like Disney went some places here. Although, is it as gritty as like old Martin Netflix? They're definitely surprising me a little bit. But I hope it doesn't get to a point where like Disney's like, oh, we're going to purposely make it more hardcore and edgy to compensate. I hope it doesn't get that far. But what I got hyped for is when I saw the little Punisher tattoo on one of the cops, because I know exactly where the storyline is going. The Punisher, he takes justice in his own hand, but like what the Punisher doing, one can argue, is like not necessarily the best. Like the Punisher will do what he can to like kill he's a serial killer for criminals, right? And there are times in the comics books, especially like that one issue where he sees police officers using his logo, and there have been many times you've seen that where like these extreme groups use the Punisher's logo and be like, yeah, we're just like you, and he like rips the thing off the car and he's like, you're not like me. You're supposed to protect the people. You're supposed to withhold the law. I do not do that. You don't do what I do. Stop playing vigilante, because you're cops. And the fact knowing that like Frank will be in this series, I can probably tell there's going to be a little bit of a storyline of like maybe Frank feels angry that people are using his logo for some kind of vigilante gain, because as Fist is making these promises to make the city better, saying we don't need vigilantes, you also have a system where like there's corruption in the police where they're also trying to be like vigilantes. And oh my gosh, I think there's just a lot of potential there with this series so far, and I'm really excited. I can't wait to see Punisher. I can't wait to see like some of these storylines that I've already seen in the comics come to fruition, whether it's the Punisher and like how people treat his logo and how it is kind of been mistreated. Fist becoming mayor, Matt is going like straight, but he's also like, I can see his temptation of wanting to be Daredevil again, but getting darker with it, being more angry and violent. Is he going to push that line? Will he go to the point where he can't come back? I'm excited. And I haven't been excited for a Marvel show in a really long time. And I think that's the one thing I can say about this new Daredevil Born Again. I myself feel born again, and I'm out of breath because I just was excited. Anyways, I'll see you at the end of the series. That's probably the when I want to talk about this game, and I hope you enjoy it. But excited, very excited. Part of me might just go back and rewatch Daredevil. I don't know. I don't really have the time, but I will say this though: if you haven't seen the original Daredevil, go watch it before you even start this series. Like, it is a journey. It's a ride. I don't know if you really need to go watch the other shows, but those had their place. They had their place in my opinion, and it could benefit you to watch those too. Maybe I don't know yet. I don't know what Marvel is fully doing with that section here, but I'm loving this kind of scaled back superhero vigilantes streets. Will Spider-Man appear? Who knows? Doubt it. I don't know what Sony's doing. They just need to give the rights back to Marvel, and maybe they can fix the mess that they but excited for Born Again. Hope you're here too. And if not, then well, what are you excited for? Juice out.